It means haters, they'll be like, oh, it's just grifting. It's like, do people not know what the word grifting means? It means lying about something you don't actually believe in or deceiving people.
I don't see anything about belief in here, or even really about lying. I mean, I guess it is lying, but um, really the issue is raising funds for something that you don't follow through on is what I would consider a grift, or upselling something a lot that that you know, claiming that you're hooking your people up with a discount when you're really making a lot of money off of them, um, or upselling them by quite a bit. Like, you know, if it was a little, if it was like a few bucks, no big deal. But for $13 compared to like $68, like that's a pretty big jump, you know. And then another thing I was gonna bring up was the um, external hard drive that he raised $200 for to get his footage or whatever, which was Duffy's footage. So that doesn't really make any sense why he would need that. And if it was for his telemetry data or for his GoPro footage or his chest cam footage, all of these things we still have yet to see, and he has yet to make a website for. So I don't know, just adding to the list.
People on purpose to make money. So talking about something that in the context of like content creators, it's pushing something forward, talking about something, claiming to believe in something. You don't actually believe in, but you think you can make money off of it. Like Lucas Gage said that I was grifting flat Earth. It's like he said that today. I'm like, bro, I'm cool with you. You know, like we're cool or whatever. But what are you talking about? It's the worst thing ever to grift. You're saying that I'm coming in, I don't think the Earth's flat. I'm pretending to so I can make money. That doesn't make any sense. I can make way more money actually just staying in your lane. Way more money. Just calling out Israel, cakewalk. Now,
for them. So I think it's just projection. All the opposition is organic, and all the opposition is organic. Opposition is organic, and obviously so. I think a big part of this is what they're freaking out about is as that number goes down, it's not going to go back up. Meaning the
Mm.
only way Israel even got this far was no one looked into them. We just assumed that they were an ally, whatever, and then
Yeah.
they just start murdering babies. So now people look into them, and then we find that's like the bread and butter. We're obviously going to talk about things like that. So stay tuned. I think that we're going to try to build up an audience and just with consistency and cover different topics. If you notice that with some of the stuff going on with Israel and stuff, where the world has turned on Israel, and I would say like rightfully so in many ways, like mass murdering babies, and I just don't think there's any way you can spin that committing a genocide, but it's like the whole world turned on them and people that are all for murdering babies. You know what I mean? So
I'm beginning to wonder how much is real and how much is theater. From the very beginning, I've been skeptical of this 7 October event. I mean, where were all the reaction forces that could have been on standby that could have responded to this incursion? How
they were
could
on a
such a
stand
large
down. They were on a stand down order.
incursion go unnoticed? Well, we know it didn't. We now know from people inside the Israeli intelligence community that a group of women whose whole mission was to focus on Gaza had found evidence for this attack and had warned the National Command Authorities. I have a great deal of difficulty with this whole thing from the very beginning, is that many of the crimes attributed to these Hamas fighters were not committed. Baby decapitations, babies in ovens, and these kinds of things.
Whoa, a group of people just making up like atrocities that supposedly happened to their people group so they could forever be a perpetual victim and then justify whatever they do in return and then shut down any type of criticism of what they're doing. No way. No way that they're doing that. There's no way. Wait, they made up a story about putting babies in ovens, but it wasn't true. No way. Out here committing genocide in 4K like it's nothing. And they just won't stop. Like it's been over 2 years. So they would get the support of most of the world. Now,
And then I'll just like be talking to my Jewish friend, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, totally." It's so funny.
it is extremely important that we're able to call out lies and deception and speak the truth and have free speech.
I people are spiraling because I put up a GoFundMe for like 10K. I only did that because I needed 20K, and I didn't even let it go all the way through, and it ended, and I never got much at all, and still need it. And like it's just like a miracle at the stuff I've been trying to pull off, right?
It's a miracle, the stuff I've been trying to pull off. Got it.
Um,
It's like, shut up.
Kept answering the questions and kept answering the questions. So I just want to point that out, right? I didn't just bell and leave everyone hanging. That didn't happen at all. Throw this out there just so you know. One of the I ended up getting so frustrated about that, right? I just kind of fell back, and there were many reasons for it, and we're gonna get into it because I got to go to a place that almost no one gets to go to. I got to go to a place that we just sit here and theorize about. We know the governments have all got together and they keep it under wraps, and it holds a bunch of answers, right?
Okay, well, why
Why is
don't
there
you
8
go?
people?
Leave your house
Why
and
is there
go
8
somewhere.
people
Why don't
that
you go?
and everybody has the same camera? What was the point of sending everybody just to have the same camera? I don't
Streams.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. He's told me several times, "Why don't you go? Why don't you save up money and go?" I'm like, first of all, it would be quite a lot of money. And second of all, even if I had that much money, I personally would rather invest it in something, so I wouldn't have to be in his position e-begging on the internet all the time.
When you lie, just so you guys know, and you may have health issues and you think they're unrelated. Maybe you are really groggy and are always really tired, or you have some type of serious health issues you've been diagnosed with, and the doctor's telling you have this, and this wrong. Dude, you obsessively lying and being toxic and looking for fights on the internet and constantly attacking someone, slandering people, things that doing that kind of stuff to people, like having bad intentions and being deceptive and stuff like that, like you're gonna get sick. Like you're gonna get sick. At one point I'm like, okay, well, this has only cost me a ton of money. It's put me in a terrible financial situation. It's put me in tons of stress. I actually got like sick.
I'm actually doing a study. My hypothesis is the more nasally the voice, the more gamma into
I think it's because they can't really. They can't.
personality attributes.
I think they can't like say something with any like
They don't speak with their chest.
because they're lying.
They don't speak with their nose.
You could speak like a man, but you're always lying. So you're like,
And
you don't even know about understanding and Witsit.
Yeah.
Cherry picking word salad, idiot, but con man that's smart, but idiot, homeless, but in
Yes.
his house.
And because you lie, it creates more mucus in the body, and therefore it clogs your nose. And then, you talk with a nasally voice. I knew it, guys.
I was hoping to wait for the Candace Owens show first, and that's gotten delayed for whatever reason because of the whole thing. So I was hoping to do that one first. Also, like the last week or so, I've actually been like had this crazy cough since Antarctica. In the last week or so, it's gotten crazy. And every day I wake up, I have this like insane cough, and I can actually like taste blood in my throat.
Oh,
And
that's
so
not
like
good.
I've been like crazy sick the last week. So yeah, I just haven't been doing
You've been
it.
cutting out the vaping and the cigarette smoking?
Yeah, I don't. Yes. No.
Okay,
I
good.
just did
As
that
long
in
as you're
Antarctica. But and there's no way that I'm coughing and stuff because I hit a vape in Antarctica and I smoked like one cigarette, right? But whatever it
Did they
is
have you
bad. I was convinced to take ivermectin. We'll see. We'll see. It actually looks like a
don't
yeah.
take ivermectin, not the big
Well,
Merck garbage. The
too
big
late.
pharma.
Too late.
It's owned by
Too late.
Merck. There's like 30 side effects. Please don't
Well,
take.
too late.
I may not like you, but please don't take ivermectin.
Yeah, I was gonna
Jesus.
say it
Take
doesn't
some
seem
garlic
not.
and
You've been like
honey, if
trying
anything.
to rip them apart for hours, and now you're like, oh, caring for them, and like,
Just making stuff up to try to like attack someone else, and like, bro, I can't even conceive of that.
I have no empathy, right? That was I'm telling him, giving him, hey, you shouldn't do this. It's bad for you. But I'm such an evil, horrible person because I'm calling out his lies and his bullshit. Okay.
Even if I couldn't stand someone, I would never do that. In fact, you barely even see me ever get in any beef, right? Like people can attack me, say things, even other content creators, even bigger streamers. You're not really going to see me say my now. I like if I have to, I'll clap back for a second, but I'm just going to address it in and out. But this idea, like obsessively, that's crazy to me, bro. I'm saying this out of love. You're creating a conflict. You're also like, dude, you could get sick. Okay? There's a good amount of narcissism within quote unquote flat earth. And like you know, I'm gonna check my own. Like for example, when I played football in high school and I was a captain, like I checked my homies, the other players, right? I wanted them to check me. You hold each other accountable, right? You don't just talk about how the other team sucks. It's like it's very serious.
Why so serious? Yeah, I don't understand. If he understands that he was, a football dude, then how is this any different? I don't understand.
These people like making jokes and uh like, you know, playing like just being playing light about this stuff and like continuing to attack. If you guys really knew, you would feel so bad. And if you didn't, then you're just a terrible person, right? You just have no empathy and you're just a terrible person. But I know a lot of you, if you really knew what all I would like had gone through and the actual situation, all the different angles of attack and everything that's happened to me, where it's just like I just take it all, bro. I just take it all. Yeah, it's all good. I think it's what being a man is, obviously. I think I might write a book. I mean, I'm not even gonna say these people's names, right?
Wait for the book to drop. That's gonna be hilarious if it ever drops, or if he'll just pull an IPS and claim he has a book to sell, and then never actually send it out to people that donate to help him get the book printed or whatever.
And a lot of them were claim to be believers. You know, I would chill, bro. And maybe want to check out my stream or some of my future work when it comes to, or you definitely go to the summit. Epic speakers, by the way. It's going to be epic topics. And you're saying it as if you know it's true, claiming to be a Christian. Do you really believe in the creator? You know, the creator knows everything. He knows you don't actually know. He knows you're making that up, right? Like, you may actually have convinced yourself, you think maybe it's true. You know you don't know it. If you actually believe in the creator, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you don't really believe in the creator. Maybe it's just kind of, it's a cool little thing to just claim, like a little title to you. I don't know.
See, he's projecting here. I've been thinking for the past year and a half that this guy's just LARPing as a Christian. And in a minute, I'm going to play a bunch of clips from his debate, I guess it was, or interview, whatever you want to call it, with Adam Green, and he just gets completely demolished. Like he clearly doesn't know like hardly anything. I mean, maybe not hardly anything, but not as much as you would think that he should know, considering how much he throws out that, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. Oh, you're not, you don't believe in the creator, and like, talking shit on other people. And this guy just completely, like, he concedes so much to this guy, and it's so funny. Um, I would suggest going and watching the whole thing if you want a good laugh. It's the Zionism Part 2 on his channel. It's surprisingly still up, but who knows if it'll still be after this. So anyways, I have it recorded if he does take it down. So hit me up if anybody wants it and it gets taken down.
But I will say I'm genuinely unfazed by it. I don't actually even know. I only ever know if someone else comes and tells me like some of it or something. I'm like, okay, because I don't know. I don't care. I don't keep up with it. Don't care. I don't care. Like they just throw in there with the anti-flat earther basket. I'm veteran when it comes to that, right? It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's still. You have to admit that that's still a testament to how insane religion is. Like if he did exist and did those things, still because of religious bias, people say that he didn't fulfill them.
Nobody else. If he really lived and did those things, how did nobody else write about him during his lifetime?
Okay, so we can get into that. We can get into that. Like,
well, that's a huge question because there's no extra biblical mention of Jesus until 60 years after he died from Josephus, which is most likely a forgery. So it's really Tacitus and Pliny the Younger that is 90 years after it happened. Who was the enemies of the Judeans before Christianity? Right before Christianity started, who was their enemy?
Pretty much everyone. Right?
It was Rome. Rome was their main enemy.
Sure, yeah, sure.
They occupied them. They were the ones that destroyed their temple. So Rome was their enemy. Their Messiah was meant to conquer the enemy and have dominion over them and have the enemy worship him and be their footstool and rule in the land of their enemies. And where has Jesus been ruling the last 1700 years? From Rome, from the Vatican.
Yeah, I get that. And that's why they would say that it's going to fall. Edom, Rome will fall, right? And because that's
at
the
the
Messiah
end of the
will
age,
come.
the 2,000 years.
Yeah, I just
once it served its role.
yeah, see, it do, but the English kind of contradicts itself. Even the KJV just blatantly contradicts itself. If you see what I'm saying, it actually the differences make it look
Also, shout out to Taylor for that one. I've heard her say several times that the Bible hasn't been, messed with, and that people, um, I forget who it was that brought it up in Geos, but she was like, "It hasn't been rewritten. What are you talking about?" So maybe she needs to do some research on the Bible and what she actually believes.
like the Greek came after the Hebrew. So I am the first to admit I think that there is no one can say, "Oh, I know the Bible is perfectly preserved by the Creator and it's perfect." It's not. But I will say I think the vast majority of their tricks were done with the translations themselves. If you go look at the Gospels and then you start going back to the Greek, what it says in the English is wrong. And not just randomly wrong, very tactically wrong to push the Trinity, to push that Jesus is God, to push these certain beliefs where it doesn't say that in the Greek. So I guess that's what I'm saying. I think that you wouldn't do that if you just completely changed it. I think they had to keep some of it and they tactically changed it. And some things they couldn't change well enough, they would just remove that verse or they removed entire books, stuff like that. Does that make sense? So I'm not claiming to have like a definitive knowledge of what is completely in perfect condition, right? Like I don't think I think it's all like under the umbrella of, well, they controlled it, right? There's no way for us to know.
One thing you said though, you mentioned that you thought the Greek looked like it came from the Hebrew. A lot of the Greek New Testament is actually verbatim, word for word, quoted from the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Old Testament. So that would show that it wasn't. And a lot of the arguments that are made in the Gospels or the word usage shows that they were using the Greek translation and not the Hebrew understanding, because then it wouldn't have made sense with the language. But can I do one more verse? One more cool verse? Psalms 2. I mean, Christianity is Jewish too, so to say it's a Jewish interpretation,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I know what the Christians, when I'm talking about what the Christians believe, I'll give their interpretation, or if I'm talking about what the rabbis believe, I'll tell you what their interpretation is.
Sure.
But I don't like believe in one and not the other.
No, I get it. I'm saying what I would say is I would agree with you on both of your critiques in that situation, and I think that I know it sounds like, of course you think you're the one that got it right, and you're one of the, you're the small group that gets it right, but that's what I think it is. I think that, and then what you're left with is like him being king, okay, and I know you don't think
okay with that.
Well, with like all the evil people being taken out.
You say it like it's just that, but like that's what the rabbis want. Their Moshiach to come, conquer evil, and rule the world from ever in the Messianic age from Jerusalem.
Well,
it's like the same thing. The same Davidic prophecies. The rabbis are waiting for the Messiah. That's what Christians believe is going to come in the second coming also.
Yeah, but you agree it's different though, right? Like one's saying that there is
differences, yes, but for the most part, it's all based on Torah prophecies of the Messiah.
Sure, but I'm actually conceding to you that doesn't necessarily prove anything, because he could have just heard the story from Christians or even from the Gospels. But I think and I'm not going to appeal to consensus. I'm very particular about fallacies, but when it comes to historical conversations, it's not like any other debate. It's not like a debate in science. It's like well known that 99% of the evidence is gone. You have to use logical and philosophical reasoning to piece things together as to what this person thought and what this. I mean, with everyone, even the emperor at the time.
You said the 99% that was lost. Also, a lot of that is because the Christians were in charge of these documents for hundreds of years, 1,000 years. And just think any ancient manuscript of some historian that was living in the time of Jesus and talking about that area and didn't mention Jesus, they'll pull those chapters out like they did in I'm forgetting which one. It might have been Tacitus actually, or Josephus. I can't remember right now. And all of those were lost. Imagine all the ones that could have been there that didn't mention Jesus, and then they got rid of it because it looked so bad and didn't mention it in the flesh. It wasn't about the flesh. That he only came in the flesh, but in the heavenly realm as a cosmic Messiah, celestial archangel type figure.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Like I do find the idea interesting. The carrier think that, right? And they think that they're going to have some political leader that takes over the world, and so like that's.
But books like Hebrews and Paul's epistles and 1st and 2nd Peter, James, Jude, they don't talk about an earthly preacher that did the stuff that you find in the Gospels. It really is talking about like a firstborn, creator, logos type of figure, which is like this intermediary between God and people, also that can come down in the lower heavens. At one point, since you mentioned scripture, I have a couple of verses, Old Testament verses, that I would like to share that are about Jesus, that show what the purpose of the Messiah in Jesus actually is, and that's to conquer the nations. Is all the nations in the end of times will worship their God. And their top rabbis say Christianity and Islam help prepare the world for the Messianic age, got them believing in the God of Abraham, Israel. So
yeah, absolutely.
I don't have to share.
I 100% see your point and yield to it a lot. And that's what I was telling Jaron too. I do, obviously, like I said, we disagree, but on certain things. But that part of it, I don't disagree with, and I also see why you think it's important to not just like leave Christianity out of it. It's just a lot. So
Just added this part in really quick. I couldn't find the clip where he said, 'cause he said a couple times, I'm a one man show here, I do everything myself and whatever. And here's a couple clips of him saying we, so I don't know.
I'm building lots of things, and we're gonna start putting stuff out as we go. But I'll message the guy that set it up. Make sure it's not something that he set up. You shouldn't have to have like a paid anything to share your screen. I think.
So
I
yeah,
hate it.
he
Like,
just
oh, since
oops, sorry. So yeah, just the fact that he says we all the time and says, "Oh, let me," the guy that set this up, and I thought he was a one man show, like I thought he did everything himself, but he's got people working behind the scenes, like for sure he's got people working behind the scenes, but I just think it reminds me a lot of FE Core taking credit, not giving credit where it's due, not shouting out the people that are doing the actual, research and work behind the scenes, but anyways, that's it for now. Y'all have a good night. Toodles.